Nosferatu!
What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline. As always, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and drop a like on this video. I would very much appreciate it. Well, as you can see in front of me, I have way more boxes than I usually do in my reviews, and that's for good reason. Today, for review, guys, I have my first Kaustic Plastik figure, and a very special one, I might add, guys. This is the Nosferatu 100th Anniversary web-exclusive set. So it does come with the coffin, but it also comes with this beautiful doorway, as you can see here pictured on the packaging. Of course, typically I like to show you guys all of the packaging. It was very difficult to get these in frame. Here is our figure box here, which we'll take a closer look at. This is the coffin box, and this is the doorway diorama box. So let me get the other two boxes out of the way and we'll just focus on the figure box. I will be right back. Okay, now that we have our other two boxes moved out of the way, let's take a closer look at our main figure packaging like we always like to do here on the channel. I do love this image here of Nosferatu. It's very iconic and I think it's really well done. And I love that kind of pencil sketch look. I believe that this must be the artist that did this sketch. If so, very well done. Moving down towards the bottom, we do have our Nosferatu iconic font there looking very good. Guys, this is the 100th anniversary celebration figure. I cannot believe this figure is 100 years old. This is a very monumental film for a lot of us. Those of you who are fans of the original Bram Stoker's Dracula, this definitely took a lot of inspiration from that, and it's a very special film for a lot of us because of that. But 100 years later, guys, people are still watching this film today, and I find that very, very interesting. And as you can see, this does say this is the exclusive edition 1/6 action figure. I'm not sure if this is special packaging just for this figure. I'm assuming it is because it looks a little bit different than what I saw in another review online. But we'll see that as we go through the packaging more throughout the video. Moving it to the side, guys, as you can see, you do have the Nosferatu branding again. Once again, stating that it is the 100th anniversary, which was 2022. Of course, we're now in 2023. Moving around to the back, this figure actually shipped directly to me from Caustic Plastik in Italy, which is very cool. Moving it down, though, as you can see, this does list the exclusive edition Nosferatu, and it is numbered, limited exclusive edition. This is the number 39 out of 180. So there's not 180 of this figure, guys, but 180 of this set, which includes that doorway diorama. They call it their web exclusive edition, so definitely really cool to see a number attached to something. I don't have a lot of collectibles in my collection that have that, so big shout out to Infinite Statues / Caustic Plastik for doing that. I think that's very cool. But guys, of course, now, without further ado, let me take the figure and all of the accessories out of all the boxes that came with this set, and we'll take a closer look at how it arrives to you when it lands on your doorstep. Now, one more thing here I wanted to quickly highlight before we move on. As you can see, there's a features box here. This is listed on the side of the box when you remove the main sleeve. And I absolutely love this. You can see all the different accessories listed on the side there. This is very well done. Some really nice attention to detail. And I love that it specifies the stuff included with the deluxe and web exclusive editions. I think that's very cool. Definitely really cool to see. So I just wanted to slip this in the video before we move on. Okay, now here's everything removed from the main packaging. As you could see, this comes with a lot, guys. It was very difficult to get in frame. You could see in scale of my hands, these diorama pieces included with this set are pretty giant. And I might add, this is polystone. It's very, very heavy. So can't wait to assemble it and show you guys all the pieces individually. But for now, guys, let's take all of the accessories and these diorama pieces out of the packaging. Okay, now as you guys can see, I have all of the accessories laid out here on the table in front of me. A lot of stuff, I might add, as I mentioned earlier. Now, one thing that is not in frame that I will pull into frame, you do get a 1-to-1 version of Count Orlock's letter there that we do have a 6-scale version of as well. I have not looked at this yet. I will open it as we look at the accessories in the next portion of the video, but I did want to show that because I have not shown it previously in the video yet. But now, guys, let's take a look at each accessory and the figure individually and take a closer look at all of the details. Alright, first things first, as always, starting with the hands. Guys, I really want to commend Caustic Plastik here. Of course, you guys know my rule, at least 8 hands. Not only do we have 8 hands included with the figure, but all of these hands have a swap out forearm portion. So this is great to see. And the thing that I really want to take a look at here that is very, very impressive with this figure, and I think it's pretty apparent to you guys as you see these hands in front of me here, but getting closer up on the hands, as you can see, this beautiful, beautiful paint work, that vein work kind of airbrushed in on the hands. You could see the pink blushing there on the knuckle area on both of these hands here. And then getting even closer, the attention to detail on those claws there is just absolutely gorgeous. Now I will flip this over here, and once again, same beautiful attention to detail mimicked on both sides here. Just absolutely masterfully done. I really am super impressed. Now guys, for those of you who haven't seen this film, the character is not in color. So whatever reference they were able to use when painting this figure, they really went all out, and I think this is absolutely beautiful. And because I think these hands are so well done, that is why I'm doing each set individually. So let's move on to the next set of hands. Okay, now that first set of hands was an exact pair. These two are not. As you could see, that same beautiful detail. Even around the fingernail, you could see that pink wash there. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. Again, really, really nice attention to detail. I'm very, very impressed. Moving on to this one here. This is like the I'm about to grab you hand here. Really beautifully done. It's kind of giving me like Mortal Kombat vibes. This is just very creepy. I absolutely love what I see here, guys. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about attention to detail and good paint work. This is really the epitome of that. And moving on to our final extra set of hands here. Once again, I just want to get really close up on that beautiful dry brushing there. It just looks absolutely amazing. The airbrush veins and everything, and that dry brushing on the knuckles there. Just absolutely fantastic, guys. This is actually Orlock giving you the finger. It's nice that it includes that. Of course, I'm just joking around, but again, just same great, beautiful paint detail. You kind of have this creepy little grasping hand here, and again, just the attention to detail, especially on the paint around the fingernails there. Just absolutely gorgeous, guys. But now let's move on to the next accessory. Okay, and these are our 1/6 scale notes here from Count Orlock. Really beautifully done, and I will say this isn't your typical cheap paper. It's got like a plastic coating to it, so maybe if you spilled something on it, it would be a bit resistant to that. That's definitely really good to see, because some of these paper products that come with these figures are always very cheap in my opinion. You can also see this item is pre-creased here and here, so you can fold it up like a letter, like you see it in the film. So that's definitely really cool. Flipping around to the back, you do have drawings and stuff on the back here. So this is really cool, and again, very nicely done for such a simple accessory. Now we might as well follow that up with the 1-to-1 version that comes with this figure. So now guys, I will pull this off. This is fake wax here, but it has a nice effect, as you can see. There is twine on here, so I will quickly open this off camera. I will be right back. Alright, now I've got it open. It was very easy, and you can see we are greeted by our 1-to-1 scale notes here from Count Orlock. As you can see, guys, this is just absolutely beautifully done. This is just so cool. It's definitely a really nice welcomed extra accessory here. Some really nice faux aging here on this paper that they use. Just overall, guys, just absolutely gorgeous and very intrinsic to the character, so I think this is absolutely awesome. I'm definitely a huge fan. We'll get up a bit closer so you can see that fake weathering detail there. It just looks really, really convincing. And again, this paper feels like it has a bit of a coating on it, so it's not just some cheap, thin paper. I'm definitely a huge fan of this. Next, we have Orlock's keys here. This does feel like a real metal chain, but the keys themselves are plastic. They have a nice sound to them, as you can see, but definitely a neat accessory. There's really not much else to say about it. Some nice weathering detail to make it look like fake weathered old brass keys, but overall it's definitely a cool accessory, and I dig it. Now we have a pair of rats here. Definitely if you display them with the coffin, this will be really cool to have crawling around on the top of that coffin. If we get closer up, as you can see, the rat's got a little piece of bread or something, a little piece of cheese. I'm messing with it. As you can see, looking really nice, very nicely painted, no sloppy paint or anything, and even like the close-up details on that piece of bread or whatever it is, definitely looks really nice. As you guys know, the rat plague, the bubonic plague, was kind of prevalent during this time, so those themes played into this film, and I think that's very cool. You can see we got a patch of hair or something missing from this rat here, but again, overall, very nicely done, especially if you use that coffin. This will look really good crawling around on top of there. Okay, and it's very small, but we have this little locket here with the image of Ellen. If you've seen this film, you know that this is Count Orlock's obsession. He had to have her, and eventually she would be the reason he met his demise. So really cool to see this included. It is just a sticker, if you could see close up there, but this is really nicely done. It's nice and weathered, as you could see on the back. You have some really nice weathering, and it looks like aged metal, so definitely a big fan of this. It's nice to see that it's included. Next, as you can see, we have this display base here. I love this decal on the top, kind of mimicking those cobblestone streets. I think that looks very good. This is a magnetic display base, similar to what InArt's been doing. Infinite Statue / Caustic Plastic, they've been doing this ever since the beginning. So I'm interested to see, being that this is my first figure from them, how it stacks up to the InArt one that I have in my collection. But on the front, you do have a Nosferatu, a Symphony of Horror emblem here on the front. I'll get even closer. Really nicely done. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. A very plain display base, but overall I think it looks pretty good. On the bottom, you see you have this Action Deluxe figure, which is like kind of one of their lines they do. I love how this is engraved into the base. It looks way nicer and way more elegant than kind of that laser etch thing we typically see, especially on the sideshow bases. So very nicely done. And you do have little pads so it doesn't scratch on anything. Next, a big accessory, we have our Count Orlock by Day sculpt here. This is the Count Orlock that's kind of putting on a front like he's not a vampire looking to kill you. But as you can see, it's just absolutely beautifully done, guys. And I will say this is some beautiful, beautiful paintwork here. I am very, very impressed. The depth of the color of the green in the eyes, the layers to the skin tone, if I can get even closer up, as you can see, just absolutely, really masterfully done, guys. I'm very, very impressed. Again, this is my first figure from Caustic Plastic, but so far I'm very impressed by the quality and the workmanship. Again, the paint depth is just second to none in my opinion, and it wraps all the way around to the back. Really no shortage of detail whatsoever, guys. This is just absolutely gorgeous. I want to get an even closer look on those eyes. As you can see, just beautifully done. You could argue maybe there'd be a little bit more gloss on the eyes if I had to nitpick there, but overall I think it looks gorgeous, guys. I'll back it up a little bit so you can get a real look at all the different sculpting elements here. It just looks absolutely incredible. And then as you can see, the hat there, that is sculpted plastic, but it looks very convincing with all the folds and everything. Just overall, guys, very, very impressive. And I can't wait to look at that main vampire mode sculpt, if you will, once we take a look at the figure. But absolutely beautifully done. And here we have this beautiful coffin here that comes with the deluxe and the exclusive edition. Looking ever so awesome. It's not too heavy, actually. I know the box was big, as you saw in the beginning of this video, but it is like a light plastic, it feels like. If we get close up, though, you can see the absolutely beautiful paint job and attention to detail. All the crevices and everything sculpted into the wood are very, very impressive, and it's very convincing, in my opinion. Of course, looking through that iconic window, if you've seen the film, this is the coffin he's laying in, obviously, when he's on the ship. And that iconic scene where he pops out of the coffin, this is why you want this accessory. This is just absolutely a treat to be included with the figure. It does open up, so the lid does come off, of course, so you can put your Count Orlock in there. And I think this is a really awesome way to display him. However, the figure is just so beautiful. I'm sure it's going to be a sin for a lot of you to cover it up. Flipping it around, though, to the underside, sorry if the lid's making noises there, you can see there's some legs on the bottom, and again, the same great attention to detail on the paint is transferred to that bottom there, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. I'll even get close up on the legs there so you can see, just beautifully painted overall, and this is just such a cool accessory. And then on the side here, we do have our faux rope and metal pulley here on the coffin so it could be carried, and it just looks great, guys. I really have no complaints. I'm very, very impressed with what I'm seeing. This is just absolutely awesome, and if you're a fan of this film, this is just monumental to be included with this figure. Okay, for the accessories, last but certainly not least, we do have our web exclusive accessory. As you can see, I do have it assembled, and again, just for an idea of scale, you can see this is gigantic. It is a full 1/6 scale doorway. Now, I will pick this up really quick so we can get a little bit closer on the details there. As you can see, like the metal hinges and everything, and all the different lines in the wood. This is kind of difficult to hold in the video because it is so heavy. This is full polystone, guys, as I mentioned earlier in the video. We do have real metal hinges there. As you can see, the door does hinge open. It's kind of difficult to show on camera once again, but I will show you, of course, Nosferatu posed up in this. Moving down to the base here, again, really beautiful attention to detail all around with the paintwork here. It's really second to none in my opinion. I just have no complaints about it, guys. I think they did a fantastic job. Moving it down to the bottom to see the underside of the base. My only complaint, guys, and it's really a minor nitpick, I wish they put your number here on the bottom of this display base, just so you have something else in writing other than the box showing that this is a numbered version of the figure. I would definitely have loved to have seen that, but overall, guys, it's just absolutely beautiful. Again, all around, I'm just very, very impressed. As you can see, the door flies open there on the front, but overall, just really nicely done, guys, and I cannot wait to display the figure with this. But guys, now, as I'm running out of breath holding this, let me grab Count Orlock himself, and we'll take a closer look at the figure and see what we think of Nosferatu by Kaustic Plastik. Okay, now here we are with Count Orlock. Now I will say, I wanted to back it up a little bit more so you guys can see the full body proportions on this guy, as he is very tall. So I do want to rotate him around so you can see what those proportions are looking like. As you can see, they kind of nailed that humpback that he has pretty perfectly in my opinion. Again, a very tall, slender figure, as the character was very tall and slender. And I think he looks great. Now, of course, we're going to get a little bit closer now so we can take a closer look at the outfit and everything close up. As you can see, this is a beautiful suede material here. Getting closer up on those buttons, you have those copper colored buttons fastened by a string around each one of them. And it just looks absolutely gorgeous, guys. I mean, the tailoring is absolutely beautiful. Really, again, I hate to keep using this, but masterfully done. I'm very, very impressed by this, guys, if you can't tell already. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, getting close up on the man of the hour here, this head sculpt is almost perfect, guys. I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. I love those teeth as we get even closer. I love those teeth, how they're painted to look like real rotten teeth there. The eyes, he has those bright green eyes, as you can see. The puffy eyebrow sculpted in, looking absolutely creepy as ever. Just looking great overall, guys. Again, really nice paintwork from Caustic Plastik. Take a look at that bald head there, the detail sculpted into that bald head, as you could see. Moving around to the side, I do want to point out there are some rooted hair tufts kind of glued around the ears there, as you could see. But I definitely think overall it looks pretty decent. It's nothing too crazy, but I think it's very convincing for the character. And again, taking a look at the front there, it looks absolutely awesome. Even the side profile, guys, is just beautiful on this head sculpt. I'm very impressed. Moving around to the back, as you can see, a better, clearer view of that rooted hair behind the ears. Just looking absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. As we're around the back here, we might as well take a look at the fitment on the coat. Again, it looks great. Of course, there's some considerable padding in here, and that is to achieve that humpback that he had in the film. And I think it looks great. I really think they nailed it, in my opinion. And overall, I'm just very pleased with what I'm seeing here. And again, this material is very, very nice. You can see this is a longer coat, so it does kind of go right above his knees almost. You can see the knee joint right there. And I think they really nailed it. And this is something unique. I don't have anything like this in my collection, and I probably never ever will again, so I'm very impressed by it. Getting closer up though, you can see the hands that are pre-installed on the figure. As you can see, they're really like grabbing hands to grab at you as he's coming out of the doorway or what have you. Definitely looks really nicely done, and again, I can't stress enough how well these hands are painted. Just really impressive, guys. I'm very, very excited about this figure as I have it here in my hands. The tailoring is very nicely done on the pants here, as you could see. Moving down to the shoes, there's some nice weathering. Looks like really old weathered leather, like he's been wearing these shoes for hundreds of years, maybe. But it looks really nice, guys. I really don't have any complaints. But while we're here with the feet, I do want to grab the display base so I can show you guys that magnetic function. Now, of course, you just kind of put him on top of the base and he does magnetize. As you can see, it looks pretty good. Without having that crotch or waist grabber, it's definitely a much cleaner look. In terms of the placement of the magnets, I noticed there's some in the front there, and then there's some in the back, as you could see. There isn't any in here, unfortunately, so you can see if I drag one of the feet to the side there, it's going to really make its way towards that middle because there's no magnets. Of course, that's going to be the same from the front as well. There's no magnet on the side there. I don't know if there's a way for them to put magnets fully in the display base, but I'm sure it's possible. But I'm glad to see there's at least 2 locations. That's definitely a good start. As you can see, though, the magnets are plenty strong. It's holding the display base here without me holding on to it, so definitely a good sign that they used decently enough strong magnets. Just be very careful. Never trust these magnetic bases 100%. But now let me take that off the feet. And guys, I'm sorry if there's noise in the background. They decided to mow the lawn the moment I started recording the figure portion of the video, so I apologize about that. In terms of posability here, guys, you do have perfect rotation, really all you would want with the head up and down, no issues whatsoever. The shoulder joints, they will go a full 90. However, there's a bit of a limitation because of the outfit, so definitely keep that in mind. I'm not going to push it too much on my copy because I don't want to mess up this beautiful outfit, but you could push it to 90 if you would like. Moving the hands down, of course, going forward, you will be able to go forward very easily, and these are ratcheted, by the way. It's definitely a really nice body. Definitely a huge fan of that. It wasn't ratcheted this way, but it is ratcheted putting it forward, and you can see it poses very easily. Of course, with this type of material, this suede, you got to be very careful. If you guys are shoe collectors, you know that all too well, and you know how to take care of suede yourselves. In terms of the elbow bend, guys, you can get a full 90 and then some. No restriction whatsoever there. That is not ratcheted, by the way, that elbow. That's probably because these forearms do separate here to swap out the hands, so there's probably the reason for that. But I'm definitely not complaining about that. In terms of the hip articulation, guys, again, I'm going to be very careful because of those buttons. You can push it to a full 90. I could definitely feel that it would do that with no issues. Not super tight, but not loose either, kind of in the middle. Because of the magnetic base, I would like to see that a little bit tighter, but that's really a bit nitpicky in my opinion. In terms of the knees, I was really hoping these would be ratcheted joints. Unfortunately, they're not. I would have loved to see some ratcheted knees on this one because of that display base idea. Nevertheless, they are tight joints. I don't feel any looseness whatsoever. It is the same on both sides, so I'm definitely okay with that. Just wish I would have seen some ratchets there. In terms of the ankle articulation, it's very tight there, which is a good thing because you don't want that wobble. You know, the ankles are usually the first to go. These are very tight joints. You could actually hear it as I'm moving it. These are very tight joints. The same on both sides, it seems like. So definitely good to see that the ankles are very strong. I'm sure Kaustic was well aware that that was very important when making this figure. But now, guys, what is there left to do than to throw the figure in a couple poses, and we'll close out this video, and I will share my final thoughts. And where do I start with this one, guys? I am absolutely, positively blown away by not only the figure, but the set as a whole. This is masterfully crafted, as I said many times. I think Caustic Plastik is up there with one of the best 1/6 scale companies, and I'm very glad to say that with even just one figure of theirs in my collection. This is absolutely beautifully done. The attention to detail with the clothing, the paint apps, the accessories is just second to none. So I really have nothing but great things to say about it. I will say, make sure you read the instructions when you are swapping out the hands. That's very important. But that's all I got for you guys. I'm very happy I purchased this. I will put a link in the description. Have a good one, and I'm out.